These wood pallets were free, and we can turn them into a raised bed at virtually no cost. Join us today as I show you just exactly how to do that, turning a wood pallet into a very productive raised bed. Hi, I'm Gardener Scott, and today I'm visiting with Kael from Ready, Set, Homestead. And together we're going to make a raised bed out of these wood pallets. Now the first thing we need to do is actually separate out the pallets. To make the bed, we'll be using the top planks, also called the deck boards. These will be the sides of the bed. On the corner, holding all the pieces together, will be these bigger, thicker pieces, the stringers on this pallet. We'll attach the deck board to the stringer and make a raised bed. There are a couple ways we can do this. We can try to pull out the nails, and if you have a cat claw or some tool similar to this, you might be able to get in and pull out some of the nails. But not all of them are as easily accessible. You might be able to get a crowbar in here, and if you're lucky, you can pry up the boards. But when you do this, you run the risk of splitting the board pieces. Another option is to cut away the planks using a circular saw or a jigsaw. This is a good way to get boards without nails, but it makes for pretty small boards when you do that from every stringer. Another option is to cut through the nails and leave the boards intact. And that's what Kael's going to show me.
Howdy. So I'm Kael with Ready Set Homestead. My father, Gardener Scott, of course, is out here. We're putting a planter together. Now, I actually make a living off of building things out of reclaimed wood. So I use a lot of pallets and things like this when I'm making any of my projects. The most effective way that I have found to get these off and maintain the maximum amount of wood is to use a sawzall or a saw that you can use that'll get through these nails. Let me go ahead and show you how you do that. You just place it right up at the top. And you cut right through. You're gonna do that with every single piece. When I do it, I found if you keep them horizontal, you can just slice through each one just like this. Alright, so we've cut all the nails on each sides. Now you got to go to the middle. Most of them are going to have a middle board that gives it structural integrity. When you're cutting these, if you're using a sawzall, you want to make sure that you have a blade that's going to be long enough to be able to reach down in, because you can't cut straight like we did on the last one. You're going to have to come at a downward angle. So the only way you can do that is if your blade exceeds the width of the board. So let me show you. Like that.
So from that one pallet, we were able to get 4 of these planks that are 5 3/4 inches wide. We've got 8 of these planks that are just over 3.5 inches wide. And what we're going to do for each side is use 2 of the small pieces and 1 of the big pieces, which is going to give us a depth of about 13 inches, which is perfect. This is just going to be a small herb garden bed. We also have 3 of the stringer pieces. The next step is to cut these down. These will become the corner pieces that hold all of these planks in place. So we're going to cut these a little bit less than 13 inches as an anchor for those planks. So the corner pieces, and this is not unusual when you break apart a pallet, is you don't have a perfect rectangle. We're going to take the long side, and this is what's going to anchor one side of the bed, and then the other side will be anchored at this angle. So we'll set these down first. We'll just go ahead and lay the boards on top. We're going to have the bottom piece be the thickest. And so with everything lined up, we're ready to drill everything together. Line up the edge of the plank with the edge of the corner piece, and then using screws, connect it together. Then move to the other side and do the same thing. Finish by doing the same with the smaller boards. And you've completed a side. With the two sides complete, now all we'll do is run the other boards between the two corners.
So whenever I'm working with wood, to make it easier when I'm working in 3 dimensions, instead of holding this board up here, having to prop it up and then hold it at the same time while I'm trying to hold a screw to drill it in, I'll figure out where I want my screw placement, and I'll just pre-drill the screw. That way, when I go to this next step, all I have to do is screw it in.
The bottom board is always the hardest when connecting the two sides. After that, it's just a simple matter of laying all the other boards on top of that stable base and just screwing them in. Using the same steps on the fourth side, this bed is almost done. We chose that pallet because we could get the 12 pieces that we needed. They were all the same length and the width matched exactly the way we wanted it to. Most pallets you're not going to be that lucky with. You may have to take 2, maybe even 3 pallets to get the proportions that you want. There'll be different lengths and different widths, and what you'll have to do is just go ahead and find the boards that fit best with your plan. And so now all this needs is a little bit of leveling, and then fill it with soil, and it's ready for planting. This rustic raised bed from a single pallet will be enough for them to grow all of the herbs they need. Now, if you want a longer bed, instead of coming off 90 degrees from this corner, go ahead and use this support bracket to hold 2 boards together, and you can have it whatever length you want. And then when you get to the corner, it becomes exactly the same process as we used for this one. I want to give my thanks to Kael and to Lucian for helping out today to build this nice raised bed. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.
And I'm Kael from Ready Set Homestead. Enjoy homesteading.